Hey guys, welcome back from that commercial break, and I am thrilled because we have another special guest joining us on this week's show. We just had Matt Hansel on a few minutes ago, a cartoonist who has done a lot of cool stuff, as you guys have heard. And right now we're going to talk to Joseph Cruz, who is a toy aficionado. All that stuff is one of his main website that he promotes his stuff, and he's gonna go into the full scale story about it. So I'm not gonna spoil it. We'll let him tell you, and we'll just have a good conversation with Joseph. Okay, Joseph, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. And you?
I'm doing excellent. I'm glad to have you. I ran into Joseph. Can you want Joseph or Joe? I want to be polite here. Which would you prefer?
Uh, Joseph's fine. I
Joseph.
mean, if Joe's good for you, that's fine also,
All
man.
right.
It's not a big one.
I just didn't want to keep going back and forth and confusing myself. All right, so Joseph and I met a couple weeks ago. I was out comic book hunting, which I occasionally do, and I met with one of the guys who happened to have one of Joseph's cards on his desk. And he goes, hey, if you're looking to get collectibles and stuff, and he goes, I deal with this guy all the time. You might want to check him out. He's got a website, Facebook, check it out. So I said, okay. So I messaged Joseph and told him I was looking to collect some DC collectibles, and he said, oh yeah, I got that, no problem. What do you want? No fuss, no muss. You just tell me what it is you want. I probably got it. And sure enough, I told him what I was looking for, and oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. So that's how I met Joseph, and he's a real great guy, great personality, a lot of fun to be around. And so Joseph, give a little backstory about yourself and your business and what it is that you do.
Well, I've always been a collector, believe it or not. I started at an early age. My uncle, he was a comic book collector. He was an artist, and I guess that's where I really got the bug at. He used to put out a newsletter. He was big time friends with CC Beck, if you know who that is. He was an artist who did Captain Marvel.
Yes.
And so, I'd go over to my uncle's house, and his name was Bernie McCarthy, and he had all of these original artwork of CC Beck. They were great friends, and, I kind of got the bug from him. I always collected, even as a kid. My mom it would drive her bats, and because I'd have all this stuff, all my comics and stuff like that, and all my toys, and I would keep them. I didn't want to, get rid of them.
Right.
And I worked for a local comic book store. Me and him became to be good friends, and I ended up having a huge flood in my house. The power grid went out, and I probably lost about $400,000 worth of stuff. I had about 60 long boxes of comics,
Ooh.
and so I came up with, I had an epiphany after I went downstairs and saw the devastation, and I basically said, look at all of this, crap. And then I said, you know what, if I'm going to continue to lose things in floods, I'm just going to start selling my stuff. And that's how the business got started. So I said, what would be a good name? And I just said, all that crap. And then I said, all that stuff. And I said, so that's where the name came from. Like I said, I've always been a huge collector of a lot of different stuff. That's my biggest problem. I can go from Transformers. I can go from the Hulk. I can go from Spider-Man to one of my favorites, Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge lover of Batman, and the business, I started off, it was real hard for me to get the business going off. I started just buying, not really knowing what I was doing. And I had so much overhead where, and then I couldn't do shows because, you gotta put your dues in. People don't know you, and it's not like you can just get in a show.
Right.
So I had to learn how to get into the shows and beg and plead, and it started working out for me. And hence, I decided to, this is something that I would like to do for the rest of my life. If I retire from work, I can do this as a part-time business or a full-time business.
Sure.
And right now it's part-time, but, I get calls throughout the day, even when I'm at work, and I try to accommodate the people. If I can't accommodate them right then and there, I'll tell them I'll call them back.
Sure.
And usually it works out pretty good.
Cool. Joseph, I had mentioned to him that I was currently looking into collecting some figures from the Batman the animated series. There was a toy shop just not too far in Maryville that had just recently sold me the McFarlane Superman the animated series statue that just came out, and well, not statue but figure, and the Batman the animated series. And I looked at it, hey, this is a pretty nice, cool, good start to what I'm looking to start building. So I said, you know what, I'd like to get some more figures probably from the Batman the animated series line. And right now, there's actually, well, I guess Joseph could tell you more directly, but there have been several collectibles. DC's launched a new phase of them, I guess, within the most recent couple of years. And one of them in particular has been the Batman, the New Adventures, the Batman, the New Animated Series, which I liked. It was a real cool. I know that they altered the character's look for the new Batman show, and it was mainly to fit in more with the Superman, the animated series style at the time. That's why the figures went from looking one way in the one season to now looking a totally different way. It's because they want to do more crossovers and things like that with Superman, which is cool. But I liked a lot of the redesign on a lot of the characters, and one in particular, I'm going to hold it up here in the camera, was Mr. Freeze. The original animated series version of Mr. Freeze wasn't bad, but it was very kind of hokey looking. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just it kind of looks silly. But to me, when they redesigned him for the new animated series, like I'm showing in the camera here, very sleek, very straightforward design, very just right at you, and I liked it. I like this version of Mr. Freeze. It's very cool. They made him kind of dark. What's that, Joseph? I'm sorry.
They made him kind of dark looking. If you look at it, the grimace on his face, or the way he looks, it's really kind of a dark look to him.
Right. So this one's really cool. The head detaches, and for those who don't know, in the new animated series, Mr. Freeze lost his entire body. His head was the only thing that was left undamaged from his accident. So the head on this figure actually detaches, and there's 4 little legs that attach to it that you can have that separately, or you can have them attached like that. So I've always liked the Mr. Freeze character. He's been one of my favorite Batman villains. So I like having that. And here I'm going to hold it on the camera, is the Batman from the new animated series, which takes some reference from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, because you just got a basic, black bat symbol on the chest. No real color other than black and gray, which is what Frank Miller's Batman looked like. And I love this style of Batman. Not to say that the original animated series was bad, but the new animated one, just sleek. I think that's the best word I can use to describe this version. Was very sleek looking. There's nothing really, hokey about this. Is just straightforward Batman. I mean, and his demeanor and style definitely changed and shifted a little bit in the new animated series from the original, which was very cool. But Joseph's is the Batman aficionado. So Joseph, what were your thoughts about the animated series, especially when it comes to the collectibles?
I tremendously loved it. When it first came out, I thought it was, when it first came out, it came on prime time.
Yep.
If you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was the best thing. Here's a cartoon that's getting ready to become. It's they promoted it so much after the 1989 Batman movie. They brought this out and they promoted it on Fox, and it was a hit. And I fell in love with it.
Yep.
And then years later, they came out with the Batman Adventures, where they changed it a little bit. At first, I thought it was a little quirky, but there were certain things that were great. But just like you said about Mr. Freeze, I've always been a big Mr. Freeze lover because of just the way he got to be Mr. Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to save his wife. And then he goes, through a cryogenic accident, and he's terminal, where he's got to wear this suit.
Yeah.
And it's just so, the figures are just so beautiful. I'll tell you, when I first started, I was just buying them for me.
Yeah,
and then I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to buy cases of these. I'm going to buy cases. And I just fell in love with all of the Batman Adventures, the Batman animated series. There's actually certain characters that I wish they'd actually do. I don't know if you remember where Superman actually put on the Batman costume.
I remember that episode. Yeah, I remember that.
And that was a great one. I wish they'd do the toy like that. I wish they would do where Batman actually was going in the Lazarus pit. You know, to stay. You know, so he could be Batman for years to come.
Yeah.
So they did an episode of that. So that all of that stuff was just fantastic. It was way beyond its time, and there's so much you can do with Batman.
Oh, yeah.
That's the great thing about him.
Yeah. I got to tell you, watching Batman, the new animated series, after it wrapped up, I immediately got into Batman Beyond, which is a great spinoff. For those who watch the show, know I always go on to Batman Beyond. I promise I won't go into a major tangent today. I'm gonna keep focused here, because especially recently with the live action teases of a movie coming and all that, I gotta rein that in. I don't want to get derailed here. So, but I love the Batman the Animated series and the Batman Beyond cartoon. It was a great tie-in. And it gave you that, like you just said, the what if. What happens when Bruce Wayne is 80-something years old? He can't be Batman anymore. So what's the future going to look like? Is he going to have a successor? Is he just going to retire and just let nature take its course as far as crime regrowing, and what happens? And he takes on a new guy to train and teaches him his ways, and it was huge. It was a big success. I hate that it only lasted 3 seasons. I think it was cut off way too soon. But it was real cool. I do got to say, the one thing that I enjoy about the animated series of Batman is that a few years back, I actually got to meet Kevin Conroy in person at a convention. This man has voiced Batman for 25-something years, maybe even more than that now. And literally my childhood, man, my growing up, and this was the guy who was Batman to me. Not to knock any of these other guys who've played Batman over the years. They each have their own take, and some are good, some are bad. But for me, Kevin Conroy, there is no competition, man. Even though it's an animated version, it's Kevin Conroy, man. That's Batman's voice.
Yeah, that's Batman. You nailed it right there. He is definitely Batman.
I can't even pick up a Batman comic book without hearing Kevin's Batman voice as I'm reading the dialogue. I mean, that's just how it is. So very cool. Well, Joseph, I'm getting all distracted here. I'm getting down a tangent again. I'm sorry about that. But
no, that's cool, man. I was getting ready to say something about the Batman Beyond stuff. I'm a huge fan of it also.
Oh, excellent.
So I get it. I kind of wish they did a action figure of Batman or did more stories when he had that suit on.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, that'd be very cool. Because I believe wearing that suit is what eventually caused him to have his heart problem, and that's what caused him to forcibly retire. Was he developed a heart condition wearing that suit? So but prior to that, I'm sure there's a lot of other stories where he was wearing that suit that no one's tapped into yet. So that'd be very cool.
Yeah, it would be.
So Joseph, let me ask you. Aside from I know Batman is yours and mine's kind of special topic here, but other than the Batman collectibles, what other collectibles do you try to have available to people?
I try to. I'm more so. I always ask what my customers want. What are you looking for? And it's so funny. I have probably, out of all the shows I've done in the years, I've probably had one person ask me for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I've never bought any because I just didn't see them selling. But I sell a lot of Marvel Legends. Mm-hmm. I'll do some Transformers. I just try to stick with the main characters on the Transformers because you get stuck with other stuff, and then you're discounting it, and you're pretty much just giving it away. Mm. But I'll deal with anything that I think. Godzilla's a huge one for me also. I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I'll buy a lot of Godzilla. Some of the biggest problems is shipping with stuff now from Japan. So that becomes a big issue. But I'm still a big Godzilla guy. I purchase a lot of that. I'll do Thundercats has a new line coming out. Mm. So I'm anticipating that. I got, there's a Conan Barbarian from the movie They're bringing out action figures for that. The problem with a lot of those figures are some of them are so expensive, and some people, only the diehards will buy them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you're spending $40 to $50 for a 6-inch figure, I get it. It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I would be even thinking about spending that type of money is for something that, look, it's been out for a while. I missed it. I get it. So now I have to pay, and if it's something I want, I have to get it, which I've done several times. It's just one of those things. I get anything. I'll even get made. So if I think I'll sell them, but a lot of the time I'll do, some of the Spawn stuff. Like you just said, McFarlane's coming out with a bunch of stuff. I'll even do some pops. I'm not doing a lot of pops just because there's a lot of people. It's like the new Beanie Baby to me.
Yeah.
So I just get the main characters. There's a McDonald line coming out, so I was thinking that would be kind of cool.
Sure.
I'll stick with like mainstream stuff like the Hulk or Venom or Deadpool. I just purchased some Speed Racer ones where he's in the Mach 5. So I do a little bit of everything just to make me dangerous. And horror stuff. I definitely do the horror. I've got 15-inch Chuckies that talk. And the bride of Chucky. I got her. I can't remember her name, Terry or Tara or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it too. I should know that. But anyway.
You think I would, but I haven't pulled one out, and I haven't had a show since March, so I tend to out of sight, out of mind.
Right,
but
right.
yeah, I've got just a lot of stuff, and then I have my personal collection. I do some statues. I used to do a lot. I've probably got about my personal 800 statues. I've got some sideshow pieces that I've actually either traded or sold. So I'm a little bit everywhere, man, with a lot of different products. And that's why I'm updating the website. So I'm telling people now to just give me a call or text me, and because there's so much stuff. If I only have like one or two of them, it makes no sense to put it on the website.
Right.
So I just tell people to give me a call if I got it. 10 times out of, if they 9, I probably got it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just a little bit everywhere with a lot of different figures. Star Wars, because they're coming out with the more Black series. I get those.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going crazy for the Baby Yoda, so I try to keep those in stock.
Sure.
So the girls really love that, and some of the guys do too, believe it or not.
I've seen a few guys too. And let me ask you, what about like Power Rangers? I know they have a white lightning round or something, a version of those. What about those?
That's another thing that I've had nobody, not one person, want.
Wow.
And I kind of remember where Power Rangers took a big dive about maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yep.
And right before the recession hit, right before this COVID hit,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people were dumping them off on eBay.
Yep.
And I was looking at that, and I was wondering, should I pick some up, or should I just stay away from them? For me, it's like playing the stock market.
Sure.
For me, I have to look and see, okay, what's going to be something that's going to get away and just run. I can run with it real quick, or is it something that I'm going to have to hold on long term to pull a profit off of?
Mm.
So some things I'll kind of stick away from, and some things I'll if I get a request for them, I'll buy it. That's not a problem.
Mm.
But even if I have to buy a case of something, I'll buy the case, and if I can sell 1 or 2 of them, I'll eventually get rid of the others. But if it's something that I'm not getting any calls for or nobody even thinks about, I'm not doing it.
That makes a lot of sense. The only reason I bring it up is I know, especially, there's 2 factors with the Power Rangers. Is that they're doing a lot of the retro stuff from the original show from way back in the 90s.
Yes.
They're launching a lot of toys from that show now that a lot of collectors are jumping on. I think it was about a year or 2 ago they had the Shattered Grid comic book story, which showed an evil version of the Green Ranger, Lord Draken, I believe is how you say his name. A lot of popularity behind that character. It was a real dark looking, evil Power Ranger. So there's been some resurgence in that area, but that's why I was asking. I was just curious if you had seen any kind of influx on that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I kind of stay away from it unless I get somebody who sells me or wants to trade certain things. That would probably be my only way of getting it. But and then even in doing trades or things like that, I pride myself on my stuff being mint, and even some of my vintage stuff, like the Batman Adventures figures I sold you.
Yes.
Those have been gone for several years now, and those things, like I said, they just came out of the package.
Yes, they
so, did. Yeah, so I just try to pride myself on the product, and because look, I'm a collector before anything.
Yes.
And if it's something that I know that I want to keep in mint, that's the way I want to sell it. But I don't want to get off track here, but
sure.
Yeah, I've never really had anybody, and I asked a lot of my customers. The one thing that's a big seller for me also is Predator stuff.
Oh, sure.
So
sure.
I get a lot of people wanting Predator, and I just sold the first two sets that came out, and I didn't want to sell them because I had extras, and then I end up selling my personal. So, but it is what it is.
Well, hopefully you can recover from that and get your hands on a replacement for yourself. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm sure you can. So
yeah, that's going to be a hard one. So, but I mean, it is what it is. I started the business, and I said, one of the guys told me, says, look, if it's been in your garage or if it's been in your basement for a year or two, might as well sell it. What's it doing?
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Very cool, Joseph. So, and as we wind down the interview segment here, let people know. You said you got a website and some social media links and things. Let people know about where they can find you at if they're looking to get in the collecting scene.
So you can catch me on Facebook. It's allthatstuff.us, or you can just probably put in all that stuff, and it'll probably come up memorabilia. The website is getting updated. It's allthatstuff.us, and if you really want to get in contact with me quick, you can always call me. My number is it okay to give the number?
Absolutely. That's up to you. If you want to give it, that's fine.
Okay. 708-369-3603. So you can contact me that way. You can text me. If you feel comfortable just texting, that's fine. I could, I'm talking with a couple people now who actually want Batman animated stuff. He gave me a big, huge list. So I'm trying to accommodate him as best I can.
Absolutely. Again, this is Joseph Cruz. He can help if you're into collecting. Right now is a cool time, especially if you're looking to get some nostalgic. Like for me, I'm building up my Batman animated series collection here. I'm going to probably be taking down some of the smaller stuff that you guys can see behind me in the camera shot and replacing it with some of this stuff because it's just a lot cooler. That's basically it. It's a lot cooler than that stuff that's out there now, especially with the McFarlane set that I have on the shelf back there. So again, guys, check him out. Go on Facebook. He's got a website. All that stuff. .us. Just get on there. Look him up. You can contact him personally if you guys want to do it that way. Just let him know what you're looking for. Typically, he'll probably have it, or he'll know how to get a hold of it. So one way or the other. So by all means, he's the guy to talk to, especially if you're doing collecting right now, especially with whatever it is you're into. So, Joseph, again, I want to thank you for taking time to talk with us today and letting us know a little bit more about yourself and your business.
Thank you for the time, man. I really appreciate it.
All right, guys. When we come back, we will wind down the rest of the show, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.